almost seems like it is a reflex, mandatory to throw in there what he can't do. So folks will be like, Giannis, obviously, dominating presence, excellent defender. Now, he can't shoot, and shaky from the free throw line at best, and no three-point shot. But, and then they go on talking about the good parts of his game. And it is so frustrating because, listen, he's not Ben Simmons, where his weakness becomes at times so overwhelming that it takes away from his greatness, that it actually negatively, significantly impacts his ability to help his team win. He's won 2 league MVPs. He's the best player on the court in the NBA Finals by a mile. And yet we still focus on what he can't do. And to show how absurd it is, I'm going to do something here that's going to sound ridiculous. And, by the way, if it just gets clipped off without the context, I'll be roasted for it forever on social media. But it will speak to how ridiculous it is that everyone does this to Giannis. I'm going to pick a random superstar and discuss them the way we would Giannis. So let's take the last guy before him to win back-to-back league MVPs, Steph Curry. What if every time anyone, Steph would have a 40-point game, have a brilliant season, for whatever reason, we're talking about Steph in a good way, if this was how he was discussed. Listen, Steph Curry, greatest shooter ever. Now, we got to say, can't play above the rim, and have you ever seen him try to post somebody up? No low post threat at all. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous, but amazing shooter, leader, teammate, one of the best players in the league. Nobody would describe him like that. People are like, yeah, obviously, he doesn't play above the rim. Obviously, he's not a low post threat. What are you talking about? But that is exactly how we do Giannis. We act as if Giannis is the only superstar with a hole in his game. So, Joy, I'm going to bring you, I'm going to, kind of throw a curveball at you. And we can do this throughout the show, just different times. I want you to throw a random, not good player, but great player at me. And I'll do the discussion of them the way we're Giannis. So we've done Steph, so give me a name.
Kevin Durant.
Durant, okay. Kevin Durant. Listen, he's one of the smoothest scorers we've ever seen. Now, obviously, he's too skinny to be, if someone backs him down, they can get exactly where they want to go, and he's not going to overpower you with his physicality. We know that. It's a hole in his game. But he's an unbelievable player. He's a great scorer, great shooter, great teammate. I mean, obviously, he's the skinniest superstar we've ever had in this league. He out there looking like Ty Thomas at times, but he's a great player. Would anyone do that, Joy? Would we ever do that? Now, I think you disagree with my take here because you're quietly anti-Giannis. But would we ever do this to the other guys?
I am not anti-Giannis. Do not give the internet that fuel. No, I'm not anti-Giannis. I think that you are right. We do this with Giannis, and we do it with other select superstars, and it feels unfair. My issue with Giannis, or not really Giannis in general, it's not Giannis. It's the narrative around Giannis. And he may very well change this in this finals. And it's looking like he might, at least after last night, the way that he was playing. And if they end up winning this finals, then all of my feelings about the Bucks and the narrative around Giannis are gone, because now he has won a championship. But the idea that he's going to take the mantle from LeBron, or that he is the superstar of that level without winning a championship, I think is unfair to the guys who have won championships.
I don't think he will be considered by anyone the best player alive if they don't win the title. And I think a lot of people, even if they do win the title, are still going to be like, I think KD's better. Folks will be like, he beat KD in a series in KD's building. They won't care. Because there is an element of Giannis's game that Shaq wasn't treated like this. Where, Shaq, by the way, also couldn't shoot jump shots, couldn't shoot threes, was a bad free throw shooter. But because Shaq was 60 pounds heavier than Giannis and spent all his time in the post, Joy, people accepted his game for what it is. But when Giannis goes 13 of 13 in the restricted area, that is, you know, Shaquille O'Nealian. It just looks different. So we'll talk about this throughout the day. Let's get to Joy Taylor with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herdline News.
I'm so glad we're going to keep doing that because I have so many more thoughts. I'm glad
I know. We got a lot. We're going to do it throughout.
All right. Well, this was a really big sports weekend, and one of the big moments this weekend was the highly anticipated third fight between Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier, which ended in shocking fashion Saturday night. You could pretty much watch the entire fight on, I'm sure it's available on YouTube at this point because it ended so quickly. Near the end of the first round, McGregor stepped back to plant his foot, but his leg buckled and he ended up breaking his lower leg. The fight was called and Poirier was named the winner by TKO for doctor's stoppage. And then McGregor was eventually taken out of the ring on the stretcher. He was in the ring for what felt like an abnormally long time to have a broken leg. So I don't know if it was pure adrenaline that was keeping him from being in agonizing pain. Luckily, I've never broken a bone, but I hear it's unpleasant. So he was just down there doing interviews and immediately talking about the next fight. But Dana White said that Conor's, when healthy, going to fight the fourth fight between him and Poirier. He had successful surgery on Sunday. He posted a video on Instagram. McGregor did, saying he feels better. He'll be on crutches for 6 weeks and that he plans to come back better than ever. I watched the fight. It was a very bad first round for McGregor. Now, it's really hard to say how the rest of the fight would go because, as we know in UFC, one bad turn, it's lights out. So I really don't know if I could predict how this fight would have gone. But if it went the way that the first round went, McGregor was going to lose this fight.
Well, so listen, I actually want to focus most of the time on something else you said, but quickly on McGregor. We don't need to see a part 4 of this. Poirier said he's not interested in a part 4. Now, I think McGregor probably will have one more huge money fight in him because he's such a draw. Diaz probably get 2 million pay-per-view buys, I hear from people who know these types of things. But McGregor as a top-level championship contender, that's probably done, right? That's probably over.
Yes. I mean, it's felt that way for a while. Now, the draw that he brings, the way that he's able to sell a fight, and when he can stay in the fight, it is always going to be a thrilling matchup because he has such a unique style when he is fighting at a high level. But it just, I mean, Poirier handled him so easily in that first round. For the fight to end that way, it's starting to feel like we're not going to get another high-level fight out of McGregor. What sucks for everyone is the fans, a sold-out crowd. It's a highly anticipated fight because it's McGregor-Poirier 3, and then it ends that way, so it feels...
And it's over that quick.
It was very anticlimactic, yes. And there's nothing you could do about it. He broke his own leg.
What's not anticlimactic is this. You've never broken a bone? You played sports at a high level.
Knock on wood. I tore an ACL. So, I don't know. I can't compare it, but that's
an odd thing. I shouldn't say odd thing. That also happens to young women at a far higher rate than happens to young men. Neither here nor there. Just quickly, if you'd like to know, you didn't ask, but I'm going to tell you. Cracked my skull twice. Broke both my collarbones, including this one, twice. Broke my hand, broke my arm, got 42 stitches in my leg when I shook up a glass Coke bottle and threw it on the ground and almost severed my foot. Got 6 stitches in my arm, 9 in my eye, 6 in my finger when I tried to juggle a broken root beer bottle after I saw it on Dave Letterman. There's one I'm leaving out. All those things have happened to me.
All right, yeah, Mr. Glass.
That's a true story.
I believe.
No, I was just in the mean streets of Kansas City.
It sounds like you're doing entirely too much.
Skull cracked as a baby. My sister hit me with a rolling pin. Luckily, I'm alive. Attempted murder.
I cut my face. So my scar isn't bad, but I cut my face trying to dance to Michael Jackson in the living room and hit the coffee table and had to get stitches in my face. But not doing all that.
Okay,
sounds like you're doing a lot.
This more later.
Yeah,
stitches in the face.
Team USA did not get off to a good start on their quest for Olympic gold. Their first exhibition game, Nigeria stunned the U.S. team with a 90-87 win. They came back from a 10-point deficit and scored 20 three-pointers in the upset. This is only the third exhibition loss Team USA has had since professionals started playing in 1992. So there was a pretty interesting reaction on social media to this loss, but that's actually a very interesting fact that this is only the third exhibition loss. Now, I'm sure they'll bounce back, but Greg Popovich said after the game he's kind of glad it happened because he expects the team to learn from it, and Jason Tatum said they're all still learning how to play with each other.
I heard friend of the show